Rob and Chris, let's talk about the guest categories in acting. And there are two locks here, aren't there? Let's start with guest comedy actress here. Betty White just wins this automatically, right? Even though she's up against Tina Fey, and they're both nominated for hosting Saturday Night Live.
That's right. I mean, who's hotter than Betty White this year? There's no one hotter than her, and she's the it girl, which is really quite bizarre. But and it was so buzzed and so hyped, and it lived up to the hype. She was brilliant in that episode, and she had a lot of great support too. She was on Jay Leno the other night apparently, and she's saying that Tina Fey is going to win that award, and I just think that's awfully humble of Ms. White to say such a thing. But she might get herself prepared for the Creative Arts Emmys because she's going to be going up on stage. She's winning that Emmy for sure.
Yeah. And she has the most screen time in that, too, right? I mean, the whole, as I recall, the whole Saturday Night Live was Betty White, Betty White, Betty White. Right, Chris?
Yeah, I watch every week, and I can't remember a person, maybe in the past 10 or 15 years, that's been in every single sketch. I mean, she was in the opening, which guest host off on art. She was in the video thing that Andy Samberg does. She was in Weekend Update. She was in everything, so she's got a lot of time, too. How bad would Tina Fey feel if she wins over Betty White? I mean, I wouldn't go up on stage if I was anybody other than Betty White. I would feel so bad that I was taking that Emmy away from her. But, yeah, she's going to win.
Okay, now in the drama actor category, this is interesting. John Lithgow arguably was a supporting actor in Dexter this year. This is a case of where Showtime, I think, showed brilliant strategy, where they could have placed him in either category, and he might have won supporting, but he's definitely going to win guest, right?
I think so. I looked at all the episodes just to see if somebody might jump around. And there's a couple of folks that do really good work here. I really was impressed. But I thought John Lithgow, they chose the perfect episode for him. He gets to be angry. He gets to be confessional. There's no gore in this episode. You don't have to actually see him killing anybody. He even has, attempted suicide attempt at the end of the episode because he feels so bad about all the things he's done. I just think it's a perfect submission. If anybody was in second place, I would say maybe Gregory Itzin. I know Rob disagrees because he's just the most evil, villainous president you've ever seen on 24, and he gets to come back after a couple of years of being away and be villainous all over again, and he just chews the scenery left and right. I think he's probably in second place, but I can't imagine John Lithgow not winning.
Yeah, Rob, definitely. John Lithgow is brilliant. He's really brilliant in that. He picked the best episode for him. He does everything possible that an actor would want to do in an episode, so the range is there, the impact is there towards the end. He has beautiful interplay with Michael C. Hall. He was the highlight of Dexter. He will win for sure. He would have won in supporting. In fact, he would have probably even won in lead. He's brilliant, and he will win for sure. But in an alternate universe, if he wasn't going to win, the only other person I think who had a shot here was Dylan Baker, because nobody does creepy like Dylan Baker does, and he was fantastic in The Good Wife as the villain there, and so he's the dark horse. But John Lithgow's the lock here, and I can't imagine any other way.
And Chris, we pretty much think that Lily Tomlin's a lock for the guest drama actress role, right? Category?
Well, I wouldn't call her a lock. I watched all of those episodes, and boy, I mean, nobody submitted all that well. Of course, they only had the one episode, but I wasn't blown away by anybody, even Lily Tomlin. I thought she had better work later on in the season. They submitted the season premiere for her, but she has a really good scene with Glenn Close, and she has a really good scene with Campbell Scott as her son. I think that's enough to win this category because people probably watch the show and know she did a good job. And Tom, I didn't realize till you pointed it out a few days ago, but while she's got a couple or three Emmy awards for writing, in all the 40-something years she's been on TV, she's never won an Emmy for performing. So I think that would be incredible if she got an Emmy for performing this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I think Lily Tomlin's up there. But I must say, like Sissy Spacek, she's an Oscar winner, and we all know how much Emmy voters love their Oscar winners. And she has, I think, 3 main scenes in Big Love, and she really gets to do what I love to call the throwing something across the room performance. She does that brilliantly, and she attacks Bill Paxton's character, and she has a great line about him being a piñata where every time he gets hit, something falls out. And so she's got the good writing behind her. She's got more of a scenery-chewing performance, whereas Lily Tomlin's a little bit more reserved. But if we're looking past that, given that Lily Tomlin's never won a performance Emmy and that she's very good in her episode and excellent throughout the season, I think she's probably got the edge over Sissy Spacek.
Somebody else who has never won an Emmy, surprisingly, he's never won a major show business award, is Neil Patrick Harris. And he's nominated, of course, frequently for How I Met Your Mother. And he has hosted every award show on the planet, except the Oscars, where he had a big, strong appearance. But has never won a major show business award. And Chris, even though he's got these 2 nominations this year, maybe 3, if we get this clarification on whether or not he is nominated with the Tony Awards nomination in the special class category. But he's, of course, nominated for How I Met Your Mother. But you think he's going to win in the guest category for Glee. Why?
I do. Well, he's horrible at submitting episodes for How I Met Your Mother. I've got to say that up front. Because I think he would have won a couple of times by now. He's got such goodwill within the industry. But here, he was only on 1 episode of Glee, so he had no choice. And I just really liked it. I just thought, some people said it was too serious, but I watched it and I thought every drop of his performance had that underlayer of him winking at the camera. He was playing a comedy kind of a villain. He has a couple of good performance songs, one with Matthew Morrison. I just thought it was really funny and good, and he was all throughout it, so he had a lot of screen time. I think this is his moment. I think he wins here.
But you disagree, Rob. You're going with Fred Willard in Modern Family. Why?
That's right. I have Neil Patrick Harris at number 3. He's in the top 3. I think
that doesn't count, Rob. Well. Number 1 counts. Who are you predicting to win?
If there's a 3-way tie, then Neil Patrick Harris will get his Emmy.
All right.
Otherwise,
you're just trying to cover your bases here. Pick a winner. Who's it going to be?
Right,
Fred Willard?
Listen, Fred Willard is going to win. He is brilliant in Modern Family. He is a comedy icon just like Jane Lynch. He is funny, sad. You feel sorry for him. You really love him. He's the dad that everyone wants to have. He works brilliantly with Ty Burrell. You can't go past Fred Willard. I think he's going to get it. And I just can't imagine Neil Patrick Harris with his more dramatic performance. The songs are really woeful. He has to do a lot of acting with Matthew Morrison, and none of it seems to work for me. I don't mean to be rude to anybody, but
Chris, did you see the same episode that Rob did? Why these divergent views here?
I don't get this. If anything, acting with Matthew Morrison makes him look even better because
wow.
He shows him up like crazy.
Mr. Morrison, that's hard. No. Look, I'm sorry. I just can't imagine it's going to happen. And if we're going to go on the laugh factor, I know laughs don't always win you an Emmy in this category, but on the laugh factor, it's Fred Willard, even Will Arnett. Look, even John Hamm. John Hamm has a 10-second performance, and I was wetting myself. It was hilarious. So I can't see Neil Patrick Harris winning for what I thought was a substandard performance. And he was even being directed by Joss Whedon, so I was expecting fireworks here, and all I got was just like a tiny little cracker. So I just...
I would love if Fred Willard won. He's been on TV also for 40 years and never won an Emmy and has quite a few nominations. But he's essentially playing Fred Willard here. I mean, he plays the same kind of character in every role he plays, which is very funny. I do think it would also be funny that he and Jane Lynch both win the same year, since they're in all those Christopher Guest movies together. But if any award was given out this year for some kind of casting, I know they have casting awards, but whoever came up with Fred Willard as Ty Burrell's father was genius. I mean, that he could have been Ty Burrell's father. They look so much alike and have the same kind of comedy sensibilities, and I think that would be great. John Hamm deserves an Emmy. I mean, I think I so wish he had gotten nominated for Saturday Night Live for his hosting performance, though. And his representation ought to be shot over this. I mean, don't submit 2 performances, one being a 2-minute role on 30 Rock and another being, probably 45 minutes of screen time on Saturday Night Live. He ruined his chance of winning here. I think he would have won with that much time and the fact that he's so different than Don Draper. But he submitted for 30 Rock, and that's the one they nominated him for.
Wow. Yeah, that's right. It's unfortunate, really. And the same thing goes for Eli Wallach and Mike O'Malley. They're both brilliant. really fantastic actors and do a great job in their episodes, but the laughs aren't there for me, and the screen time isn't there either, and so that's why they're not in the top group in this category. And I think either Fred, Will, or Neil are going to win that Emmy. And if I have to put something down as a definite, then I think it's going to be Fred Willard. So you can take that to the bank.